Close your eyes and let the stars guide you. Above the hum of everyday life, beyond the soft ticking of clocks, beyond even the deepest dreams, something ancient hums just beneath the fabric of reality. A sound so deep and slow, your ears can't hear it, but your soul can feel it. Somewhere in the black velvet of space, planets are singing. Yes, singing. For thousands of years, humans have believed there's a hidden harmony among the stars. The ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras called it the music of the spheres, imagining that every planet in our solar system made its own tone as it circled the sun, like a vast orchestra moving in slow motion. To him, the planets weren't just rocks in space. They were musicians in a cosmic symphony. Tonight, as you settle into the quiet comfort of your pillow, imagine yourself drifting gently above Earth. The sky around you is midnight blue, peppered with stars. Below, cities flicker softly like candlelight. With each breath, you rise a little farther, floating into the silent rhythm of the heavens. And then you begin to hear it, not with your ears, but in your chest. A hum, a vibration, a tone so low and long it stretches across hours. This is the voice of Earth. NASA once sent specially equipped satellites into deep space to record the natural vibrations of planets, moons, and solar winds. They didn't find classical music, of course, but what they did discover was more enchanting. Vibrations, electromagnetic pulses turned into sound. Saturn, for instance, creates a spooky, echoing melody like wind whistling through a frozen forest. Jupiter rumbles and cracks like a distant thunderstorm. Uranus? A hollow kind of whisper, as if speaking from miles below water. These sounds aren't from sci-fi movies. They're real. The music of the planets, floating even higher now, past the moon's silver glow. You move deeper into this planetary concert. Each world is humming its own frequency, slow and steady. You begin to realize something beautiful. These planets were singing before we existed, and they will continue long after we are gone. The music doesn't need us to hear it. It just is eternal and unchanging. What if every moment you've ever lived has had this song in the background? Right now, even in your sleep, Earth is softly vibrating, playing its part in the galaxy's great refrain. It's as if the universe has always had a lullaby playing, one we're only just beginning to notice. You reach Saturn, where its rings shimmer like frozen music frozen in light. If you listen closely, just closely enough, you hear a sigh. It's not a voice or a word, but a peaceful rumble, as if the planet itself is breathing slow and deep, just like you. Astronomers who've listened to Saturn's sounds describe them as haunting. But tonight, they don't haunt. Tonight, they soothe. Behind the sound is something ancient, not cold, not mysterious, but wise. Wiser than us. In this silence, in this song, you realize space isn't empty. It's full of rhythm and harmony and tones so slow we mistake them for silence. What would that feel like to live in tune with such a song? Maybe in sleep we do. And now you drift even farther out where no light remains. Just the deep hum of a universe still playing its quiet composition. There's no danger here, no loneliness, just calm. Deep, ever-present calm. The music of the spheres isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. Like all the best lullabies, it touches you only gently, asking nothing in return. And somewhere, in the soft silence before your next breath, you begin to drift deeper. Into dreams, into stillness, into peace. Let that music carry you forward. Let it take you to our next mystery, somewhere, far away in the black sea of space. A soft light returns, not quickly, not loudly, but faithfully. It's been coming back again and again, for thousands of years, visible to ancient eyes, kings and wanderers, poets and stargazers. A ghostly light with a long, icy tail, drifting across the sky like a whisper from time itself. This is Halley's Comet. Not just any comet. This one is different. It keeps a promise to Earth. Every 75 or 76 years, it swings by our little world in a silent, glittering arc, then disappears again into the dark, always leaving but always returning. It's a traveler older than the pyramids, and yet it still keeps time with us. Imagine for a moment, standing in a quiet desert 2,000 years ago. The sky is dark, and the chill of night hugs the sand. Above you a blazing streak across the stars. No sound, no warning, just wonder. You don't know it yet, but that same shimmering traveler will return generations later. Long after your story is done, it will pass over cities not yet built, over oceans yet to be crossed, over your great-great-grandchildren as they look up in awe. Just like you, the Chinese recorded it into 40 BC, the Babylonians even earlier. William the Conqueror's men carved it into stone before marching to battle. It's in art, in old books, painted in church ceilings. And still it returns. In 1910, some waited in fear. Rumors said the comet carried poison gas. People bought gas masks. Others hosted comet parties and danced under its glow. Some whispered it was a divine sign. Others, just science. But for every eye that looked up, it was unforgettable. One of those eyes belonged to a young boy named Samuel Clemens, known later as Mark Twain. He was born when Halley's Comet passed in 1835. He once said, "I came in with the comet, and I expect to go out with it." When the comet returned in 1910, he passed away. Quietly, as promised. There's something comforting about that, isn't there? That even in the infinite wildness of space, something comes back. Something arrives again, like clockwork, to remind us not all mysteries are lost. Some return to us in cycles, like dreams we forget upon waking, only to feel again the next night. But Halley's journey isn't easy. After it visits us, it is slingshotted deep into the outer solar system, into darkness beyond the warmth of the sun, where time seems to stop and even light grows weak. For decades, it travels alone, silent, invisible, and yet still it returns, each time a little less icy, a little fainter, but still here. You begin to wonder, maybe Halley's Comet is more than ice and dust. Maybe it's a memory shared across centuries. Maybe it's a reminder that some things, no matter how long they sleep, always find their way back. That in the universe, not everything disappears forever. Now picture yourself floating near it. No engines, no sound, just the comet gliding past you like frozen glass. A pale blue shimmer reflecting starlight. You reach out as if to touch its tail, but it doesn't stop. It never does. It just keeps moving, slow and graceful, pulled by gravity and guided by something older than time. You watch it vanish into the distance. No fanfare, just peace, and a promise to return. Somewhere in the quiet night around you, the stars are shifting. A deep breath moves through the sky, and one by one, these ancient mysteries begin to emerge, not with noise, not with answers, but with wonder. The next is waiting so far away. It holds even the light itself, out here, beyond the light of stars, where silence stretches for billions of miles. Something waits. It doesn't move fast. It doesn't burn bright. In fact, it doesn't shine at all. It isn't loud, and it doesn't roar. It whispers, if you could even call it that. Not in sound, but in gravity. In presence. This is the quiet life of a black hole. Most people think of black holes as monsters, violent, all-devouring, terrifying. But they forget something. Black holes are also some of the calmest, stillest places in the cosmos. They drift silently through the starlit void, undetectable to the eye, invisible even to the most powerful telescopes. And unless something crosses their path, there is only peace. Imagine one now, just ahead of you. A perfect circle of darkness, so black, it almost shimmers. There's no explosion, no chaos, just a gentle pulling, a soft warping of space itself. Time bends around it like silk in slow water. Everything near it begins to slow, not from fear, but from gravity. A slowness so complete, it becomes serenity. This is not destruction. This is stillness on a level we can barely understand. Many black holes began long ago, as stars vast, powerful suns burning with unimaginable brightness. And then, one day, they collapsed, not in violence, but in surrender. As if, after shining for millions of years, the star simply let go and exhaled, folding into itself and becoming quiet. Now it exists not to shine, but to hold, a silent guardian in the fabric of space-time. It sings no song, it casts no shadow, but they're so heavy it shapes the path of stars, planets, even light itself. At the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way, there lives one of these giants, a supermassive black hole. It doesn't threaten, it doesn't chase, it simply waits, slowly turning time around itself for millions of years. It's so calm, so perfectly still, that everything in the galaxy spirals around it like water slowly circling a deep, endless drain, but softly, gently. And here's something most never think about. Black holes do not pull everything in. You could orbit one forever, quietly surfing the curve of space-time, traveling at the edge of the unknown, peaceful and untouched. Even the famous event horizon, when nothing escapes, not even light, is not a violent boundary. It's just a point of no return, a gentle line drawn in the stillness. Step across it, and you slip slowly inward, not in a fall, but in a peaceful fade. Some scientists believe time may stop completely inside a black hole, a place where clocks no longer tick, where moments stretch into eternity. What a thought that is! That somewhere in the universe, there are places where time simply pauses. Can you feel it? Out here, away from noise, away from movement, the black hole is like a cosmic breath held forever. A space so calm, so complete, that nothing needs to happen. It simply is, and even now, as you begin to relax deeper, lying back, breathing slowly, you might feel that same peace slowly pulling at your thoughts. Not in fear, never in fear, but in a kind of letting go, a surrender to the mystery, a drift into dark comfort. The black hole doesn't call to you. It doesn't speak, and yet it welcomes. Out here, in the quiet, your mind begins to quiet too. Thoughts drift by like distant stars, tiny and far away. Instead of rushing, you begin to float, not falling, drifting, as if all your worries have been pulled into blackness too, not lost, just gently forgotten. And on the other side of that silence, something is waiting, another mystery, another calm in the storm of the universe. Let's meet it next. Just keep drifting. Just when you think you know the sky, it surprises you. We've always thought of the moon as our one and only companion, that pale, glowing sphere that follows us night after night, known and named by every culture that's ever looked up at the stars. But what if just for a little while there were others? Tiny moons, secret ones, orbiting Earth quietly, briefly, then drifting away like forgotten dreams. They're called mini-moons, and they do something remarkable. They come and go. Too small to see without powerful telescopes, too quiet to make a sound. But they are real, and they are here. Sometimes there are two moons in the sky, and we never even know it. These mini-moons aren't born like our moon was. They don't rise and set with devotion. They are wayward travelers, small asteroids that gently wander near Earth, and sometimes, just sometimes, they get caught by our planet's gravity. Not with violence, with invitation. Earth reaches out its invisible arms, and these little rocks arrive, not crashing, but floating into orbit, like a lost bird finding rest on a branch. They stay for a few months, maybe a year, spinning quietly, circling us like forgotten prayers. Then, one day, gravity lets go, and they slip away again, back into the vast silence of space. You might have never heard of them. Most people haven't, but astronomers have spotted a few. One was found in 2006, about the size of a car. Another stayed with us from 2018 to 2020, quietly tracing its path around Earth before sliding back into the dark. They don't shine. They don't glow. They whisper. Can you imagine it? Lying back under a cold, dark sky. And somewhere up there, far above the clouds, a tiny moon makes its slow circle. No one sees it. No one notices. But it's there, just keeping you company. And when you sleep, maybe your dreams float near it, tiny orbits of thought you forget by morning. There's something beautiful in the quiet existence of these secret visitors. They're not meant to stay. They never ask for attention. But for a fleeting moment, they are part of us. Not just passing by, but truly orbiting, as if Earth and you were meant to share something with them, however briefly. And isn't that how some things in life are? People, memories, moments, they orbit us briefly. Stay a little while, then leave. Not out of cruelty, just because their time with us has passed. But while they're near, they're real, and they matter. Earth doesn't chase after these moons. It doesn't try to hold them too tightly. It lets them go when the time comes. There's a lesson in that soft, quiet, and full of grace. Now, imagine that you're watching one of these mini-moons from above. You've drifted higher now into low orbit. There it is, small, shapeless, maybe no bigger than a chair, and yet it's traveling alongside our entire planet. Silent, weightless, peaceful, and you to our light now, floating, breathing slower, thoughts softening, stretching long like the horizon beneath you. This is the stillness of cosmic company. But even that secret moon will soon continue its journey, its quiet farewell, leaving behind no sound, only space, and perhaps the gentle feeling that for a while you weren't alone. And just beyond the moon's path, deep in the star-spun night, awaits our next mystery, a place where light becomes color and color becomes forever. Let's go. There are places in the universe where dying takes on the shape of beauty, far beyond the grip of gravity, beyond planets and moons and even time as we know it. A star is taking its final breath, but it's not exploding. It's not burning out in anger. No, this star is releasing its last light in the most delicate and breathtaking way, unfolding into space like wings. They call it the butterfly nebula. You won't see it with your eyes from Earth. It sits over 3,800 light-years away in a silent corner of the constellation Scorpius. But if you could float there effortlessly through the dark seas between stars, you'd see something that almost doesn't look real. A blazing, symmetrical cloud of light and gas swelling out from its center like stained glass, unfolding in slow motion, asterisk to wings. Perfectly spread. It isn't flapping. It's suspended, hovering in stillness for thousands of years. A cosmic exhale frozen in time. This is what the death of a star can look like. Not a collapse, but a transformation. As if, rather than fading into nothing, it turned its sorrow into art. The colors are soft and surreal. Shades of lavender and deep gold, shimmering pinks and wisps of blue. They drift outward at 600,000 miles per hour, but from here, it feels like gliding, slower than sleep, slower than dreaming. The light was released long before you were born, maybe even before the Earth as we know it, and yet it still stretches on, still shining. You might think of a butterfly as fragile, light, passing, but in space, even the most delicate shapes last for thousands of years. They are not fragile, they are eternally becoming. Try to imagine yourself floating through one of its wings now, the gas and dust parting around you like colored wind. You don't need a ship, no suit, just the quiet feeling of awe wrapped around you like a blanket. There are no edges here, no sharp lines, just diffused color and the soft streaks of fading light, and beneath it all a rhythm. Not a beat like a drum, something slower, unlike time entirely. The rhythm of expansion, the rhythm of becoming. Astronomers say this kind of beauty comes only in a short phase of a star's life, short on cosmic scales at least. A few thousand years of brilliance at the end, before the gas finally disperses into the galaxy, where it will become part of something new. New stars, new planets, maybe even someday you. That's the wonder in all this. Nothing is wasted. The butterfly nebula is not an ending. It's part of a cycle so vast, so quiet, it feels like a lullaby sung by the stars themselves. Part of its gas might already be forming something new far away. Maybe a world, maybe another butterfly. And so here you are, surrounded by soft colors, wrapped in light that once belonged to a sun now long gone. And yet, nothing feels like loss, only movement. Only release. As you watch the luminous wings stretch outward into dark space, you begin to feel that same desire to let go, to drift, to unfold. There's no rush, no final moment, only the slow, beautiful movement away from pressure, away from the past, towards something unknown but peaceful. You take a breath, a long one, and let yourself follow the butterfly's path. Ahead, there's something even colder, even stiller, and it's waiting gently. In the quietest heart of space. There is a cold so deep, so still, that not even the emptiness of space can match it. You would think space endless and starless between the galaxies. Must be the coldest place in existence. But tucked inside the envelope of the universe, in a tiny patch of sky unseen by the naked eye, there's a place even colder. A place so silent, it makes nothingness feel warm. It's called the Boomerang Nebula. At first glance, the name sounds playful, almost light-hearted, but the Boomerang Nebula holds a record unlike any other. It is the coldest known natural place in the universe. Its temperature rests at a staggering minus 457.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just one single degree above absolute zero, the point where all motion stops. Imagine that. A patch of space colder than the black void that surrounds every star and planet. Colder than the dark in between galaxies. Colder than anyone imagined anything could ever be without freezing time itself. But the Boomerang Nebula didn't start out cold. It began, like so many other things in the universe, as a star. A sun burning quietly, somewhere in the constellation Centaurus, 5,000 light-years from Earth. And then, something changed. The star reached the end of its life and began to release its outer layers, gas and dust flowing outward at tremendous speed. This created a shell, and within that shell, something strange happened. The gas expanded so fast. It cooled beyond what scientists thought was even possible. It became a kind of cosmic deep freezer of frozen breath hurled into space. If you could float there now, you wouldn't see color like in a nebula. No vivid pinks or haunting blues. It appears almost invisible to the human eye, ghostly, dim and delicate. But in radio waves, it becomes clear, a soft bow-tie shape, elegant, symmetrical, and cracking with the cold of ancient air. Despite its name, the Boomerang Nebula is not coming back. It doesn't reverse its course. The name comes from its shape to outstretched arms that curl ever so slightly, like something thrown, or something flying away forever. And there's something incredibly peaceful about that. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't explode in color. It just exists in the kind of silence we rarely imagine. Not the silence of a room with no sound, but the silence of no movement, no heat. A pause so profound, it becomes a lullaby all on its own. And yet, even here, within all that stillness, life goes on. This cold isn't cruel. It doesn't destroy. It preserves. The gases here will slowly warm again in time. The light from nearby stars may awaken color from sleep. One day, this nebula will breathe again. But for now it waits, quietly, endlessly. Imagine yourself drifting through this frozen cloud. No walls, no floor, just waves of invisible gas stretching for trillions of miles around you. There's nothing to fear, nothing to hurry. The temperature doesn't harm you, it comforts. Slows you down, lets your thoughts float without weight. Time stretches thin here. Whatever worries you carried have been left millions of miles behind. Here, in the coldest arms of the universe, you are completely suspended, held by something that doesn't speak or move or shine, but simply is. And in this perfect, patient stillness, you breathe deeper, slower. Just one more breath, and gently, we move onward. Because somewhere nearby, stars are not freezing. They are pulsing, living, breathing in the darkness just like you. In the hush between stars, something begins to stir. Not violently, not loudly. A soft rhythm, like the slow inhale and exhale of the universe itself. If you listen not with your ears, but with your attention, you might sense it. A heartbeat, ancient and bright, thudding not in time with seconds and minutes, but with the soft ticking of the cosmos. These are not dreams. These are stars, and some of them breathe. They are called Cepheid variables, a special kind of star that pulses with perfect rhythm, expanding and contracting over days, weeks, or months, growing brighter, then dimmer, then brighter again. A silent, slow dance of light and breath that's been going on since the beginning. Imagine a star not just burning, but living, breathing, its surface slowly swelling like a deep, gentle breath in, and then exhaling that light into the blackness. Each pulse, each shift in brightness is a whisper in the dark. I'm still here. Not chaotic, not crashing, just calm, rhythmic change. The kind of movement that doesn't disturb, it soothes. You're floating near one now. It's hundreds of times larger than our sun, golden and soft in its glow. It pulses with a light you not only see but feel. It warms you from the inside, like a song remembered from childhood. Every few days, it expands, stretching out its luminous arms. Nearing the edge of its warmth, then gently contracts again, like a sigh. This is not random. It's precise. Each star like this beats in perfect time, and because of that, astronomers have used them for generations as distance markers in space. They are cosmic lighthouses in a sea of silence showing us the way. But tonight, you don't need to measure anything. Tonight, you just float surrounded by stars that are gently opening and closing, glowing softly, like candles breathing in rhythm across the galaxy. There's something human about them, isn't there? To breathe, to pulse, to change slowly over time, even now as your own breath slows. Your thoughts gently expanding and contracting like the surface of that star. You begin to feel part of it, not just an observer, but a participant. Your body, your lungs, your heart, they, too, are part of the universe's pattern. The Cepheid star doesn't rush. It doesn't try to shine the brightest. It simply glows in waves. And so can you. Let its rhythm become your own. Brightness rising, slowly and falling, not ending, just changing. Where some mysteries erupt with fire and force, this one just lives, quietly, eternally. It has sighed in the shadows for millions of years, and will continue long after our time passes. You look away from the nearest star and see more dozens, hundreds, all pulsing elegantly across space, each with its own timing, like a lullaby in slow rounds. It's not a song you can sing, but it's one your body understands, deep in your bones. In the part of you that dreams. And with every flicker of light, another breath in and another breath out. As you float away, deeper into the soft fabric of space, the rhythm fades gently behind you, leaving your heart a little slower, your mind a little quieter. And far ahead, something enormous is rising, not light, not motion, but shape, bubbles, massive and glowing, waiting just beyond the edge of what you know. They rise out of the galaxy like silent giants, invisible to our eyes but glowing with power across the spectrum of space, to vast, shimmering shapes taller than our Milky Way itself, billowing upward and downward like soft echoes from the heart of something ancient. They're called the Fermi bubbles, discovered only recently. These enormous, balloon-like structures stretch 50,000 light-years above and below the plane of our galaxy, each one reaching out further than you can imagine. We can't see them by starlight or telescope. They were found in gamma rays, the highest energy light in the universe. And what they are exactly still remains one of the quiet truths we don't yet understand. But what we do know makes them extraordinary. They might be the lingering breath of our galaxy's core, a whisper from long ago when the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way may have awakened for a moment, consuming massive amounts of matter and releasing jets of high-energy light and particles. Or perhaps they were formed by a starburst event, millions of stars being born and dying all at once, in a cosmic storm, sending shockwaves above and below. And still, despite the possibility of chaos in their origin, the bubbles now float in perfect silence, symmetrical, serene. Imagine you're there now, drifting thousands of light-years above the Milky Way's gentle spiral. The arms of our galaxy are barely visible beneath you like a fog of distant stars, stretching to the edges of perception. And you, surrounded by the softest light you've ever seen. The Fermi bubbles don't shimmer like fireworks. Their glow is quiet, balanced, almost breathing, like some great invisible being exhaling slowly in both directions. The energy inside them is ancient, but not chaotic anymore. It has leveled out. It drifts in peaceful waves, suspended in the great silence that holds everything. It feels like peace, and much like the other mysteries we've floated through tonight. The Fermi bubbles don't need to be solved to be appreciated. They exist as a reminder of how much happens above us beyond even the stars we know. Huge, silent structures surrounding us, protecting us, maybe even nourishing the galaxy in ways we haven't yet begun to uncover. And perhaps most beautifully, almost no one notices them. You could live your whole life under their glow and never know they were there. Much like love we don't see. protection we never ask for, a calm presence above and below guiding everything without needing recognition. Now, imagine drifting along the upper edge of one of these bubbles riding its soft curve, like a wave in slow motion. There is no wind, no resistance, just endless light years of peaceful, high-energy memory holding you delicately in place. And from here, you glimpse something new. Below you is the galaxy, billions of stars, countless planets, all moving, all flickering, all changing. But here on the curve of the foamy bubble, everything slows down again. Time stretches, thought drifts. You've come so far, and yet there are still deeper silences waiting, somewhere beyond. There's a place not filled with stars or swirling gas, but with nothing. A dark, endless stretch where even the galaxies themselves are missing. The next mystery is not about what's there. It's about what ISN single quotes T. out beyond the edges of galaxies. Farther than even the light from ancient stars has traveled, there is nothing. Not space filled with stars, not glowing gas or swirling dust, just emptiness, vast, silent and cold. These are the cosmic voids, the great spaces between clusters of galaxies, between filaments where matter flows. These aren't just gaps. They are stretches of space so empty, they almost feel forgotten. Imagine something the size of hundreds of thousands of galaxies, and almost nothing inside. But the mystery isn't just in how empty these places are, it's in how they got that way. When we look at the universe on a grand scale, it looks like a web, a glowing structure with threads of galaxies woven together like spider silk. But in between those threads are holes, voids, pockets where gravity never pulled matter into stars or planets or worlds. These vast, dark regions extend across millions of light years, and their silence is absolute. They didn't form in chaos. They formed in stillness. Imagine now that you're drifting toward one, a cosmic vacuum, wider and deeper than anything you've seen. There is no color here, no flicker of starlight, just a rich, velvety blackness so total. It feels like you're floating through shadow itself. And yet, this emptiness doesn't feel lonely. It doesn't frighten you. It holds you the way night holds the final note of a lullaby, dreamlike, boundless and slow. You begin to understand something important in this silence. Not every beautiful thing is filled with light. Sometimes, it's the space between the quiet moments that gives everything else meaning. Stars need darkness to shine. Sound needs silence to be heard. Life itself needs still moments when nothing happens. Moments that let us breathe. Some scientists believe these voids are essential to the structure of the universe, that without them, galaxies wouldn't have formed the way they did. They give room. They grant the ingredients of creation a place to stretch, shift, and form something new. You float deeper into the void. There's no movement, no sensation of direction, just infinite depth in every way. But even here, something whispers through the silence, not in words, but in feeling. Peace can be found in the places we don't rush to fill. We spend so much time racing toward purpose, toward answers, toward brightness. But here, there's only rest, and a strange comfort of not needing to be anything. This is not the darkness of fear. It's the darkness of rest, the kind of rest that lets stars take shape, and ideas to form, and dreams to settle in softly, like dust on the surface of the soul. You stay here for a while, floating, breathing slowly, every part of you stretched across this space, relaxed, forgotten, and free. Then, far in the distance, something flickers, not a star, not a galaxy, but warmth, a glow so ancient, it predates everything. It's not arriving. It's always been there. And now it's calling you gently to drift toward it. To be held in the oldest light there is, long before the first stars were born, before galaxies spun themselves into spirals, before even time felt like it. A direction there was light, not the sharp glow of a sun, not the dancing shimmer of fire, but a gentle, golden warmth that filled the entire universe like a soft breath held in stillness. That light is still here. It has never left. We call it the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, the very first light to travel across space. Not bright, not loud, but constant. A quiet warmth stretched so thin across time that it now hums just above absolute zero. Invisible to our eyes, yet always present. It is the universe's memory. You are floating toward it now. There's no edge, no line drawn in space where it begins or ends. It's not something you arrive at, it's something you drift into, like stepping into the warmth of the morning sun after a long night. It wraps itself around you without touch or sound. If you close your eyes, you can almost feel it on your skin. Not heat, just peace. This light began its journey nearly 13.8 billion years ago, when the universe was just a newborn. Before that, everything was too dense, too hot, too wild for light to move freely. But then the universe grew. It stretched, it cooled, and in that moment, light was released free to travel, rippling outward in all directions like a sigh of relief. That light never stopped. Even now, in this exact moment, it bathes every inch of space, including the moon above your head, the oceans far below you, the tips of mountains, and the soft breath you're taking right now. You've felt it before, even if you didn't know what it was. In the empty space between stars. In the silence after a storm, in the stillness that lingers just before sleep. This is the light that saw everything begin, and it will see everything through. Scientists have mapped this light in extraordinary detail. It is not uniform. There are tiny fluctuations, little bumps and soft differences, like texture on a worn blanket. Those tiny bumps became everything: stars, planets, oceans, us. All of it came from tiny wrinkles in this ancient light, and somehow, across the incredible stretch of time, that light still reaches you. Not with urgency, not with force, but gently, lovingly, like a hand resting on yours in quiet understanding. You don't need to understand it to feel it. You only have to let it in. And in this moment, floating through the oldest glow in the universe, you are reminded of something far more powerful than any mystery, any equation, any force. You are part of this, not separate from the universe, not placed within it, but of it, formed from stardust, shaped by time and gravity and the glowing residue of a beginning. Too beautiful to fully comprehend. The light that began it all is not outside you. It is inside you, still glowing, still dreaming. Now, as this light cradles you in its steady warmth, your breath softens again, your body relaxes, your thoughts slow. You are becoming the silence, the rhythm, the pause between time. And slowly, with the stars flickering in your distance, you begin to fall into a sleep older than memory, a sleep held gently by the universe, a sleep where every mystery you've traveled tonight still glows inside of you. And in this place lit by the first light, the softest light, there is nothing more to do. Only rest, only peace, only dreams that drift through galaxies yet to form. Time, it ticks all around you, in your heartbeat, in the rising and falling of your breath, and in the slow blinking of stars a billion miles away. It's something you can feel but never touch, and it moves in only one direction. Or does it? This is one of the great mysteries. What is time, really? Is it a river forever flowing from the past and into the future? Or is it a much stranger thing, bending and swirling around gravity, stretched or compressed by speed and space? To answer that, we must travel back. Not just to the early moments of the universe, but to something even more mysterious. The concept of before the Big Bang. But here's the paradox. Time itself was born in that moment. There was no before, because there was no time yet. There was no ticking clock, no unfolding events. No then, just the eternal now. So if time was born with the universe, where did it come from? Perhaps the better question is, was the Big Bang really the beginning? There are theories, gentle, mind-bending ones, that whisper of other beginnings. Maybe time didn't start so much as cycle. Expanding, collapsing, rebounding. A heartbeat of endless cosmos, inhaling and exhaling over trillions of years. A breath, then silence, then expansion again, over and over, forever. For others suggest that our universe is just one bubble in an infinite foaming sea of other universes, each one with its own version of time, ticking at its own pace. In some of them, time may run faster or slower, or not at all. And then there's a theory even more strange. Time doesn't exist at all. Not in the way we think it does. What if time isn't something flowing by us, but something we carry inside us? The physicist Carlo Rovelli once suggested that time might be a byproduct of how we experience change. Without memory, motion, temperature, entropy, there is no time. It's not a thing out there. It's a reflection of us and how we perceive the unfolding of the universe. Imagine a world where everything stays perfectly still. No movement, no decay, the stars frozen in place, even your breath and thoughts suspended in stillness. Would time exist there? Or is it only when we move, grow, forget, and remember that time begins? Now consider the black hole, a place in the universe where time bends toward the edge of nothing. If you approached a black hole slowly, carefully, you'd notice time slowing down. Minutes become hours, hours become days, for everyone else. But for you, time feels normal. Step a little closer, and the outside world appears to race ahead. One moment, your friends are waving from the spaceship. The next, they're gone. 1,000 years have passed for them, and you haven't blinked. At the event horizon, the invisible edge of a black hole, some physicists think time may stop altogether. Which brings us back to those early moments of the universe. If time began with the Big Bang, then what caused it? Do we need a cause for a beginning? Or is that just our time-bound way of thinking? Ask a fish to describe the ocean, and it will miss the water because it swims in it, just as we swim in time, unaware of how deeply it shapes our thoughts. Yet bedtime is, in its own way, a rebellion against time. When you sleep, time fades. Minutes collapse into dreams. Hours pass in moments. The ideas of past and future melt into a world where flying feels normal, and nothing has to make sense. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's the closest we ever come to reaching a place where time no longer rules us. Maybe in our dreams we touch the edge of that great ocean of stillness, the place where time was born. Or maybe we glimpse it in the stars, silent, ancient and patient. They don't care about hours or calendars. They simply are. And slowly, even they die, but not all at once. Some burn into white dwarfs, pale ghosts of their former glory. Others explode in magnificent supernovas, spreading elements into the void, creating the building blocks for planets, oceans, and life. Even in death, the stars respect time, but they never rush. They remain eternal by doing what you're doing now, resting, trusting, floating. And so, beneath this symphony of ticking particles, swirling clocks, and shifting skies, allow yourself to drift. There is nothing more you need to do. There is nowhere you need to be. Time will take care of the rest, because out here, in the arms of the universe, time is not your enemy. It is your lullaby. Sleep now, little traveler. The stars are keeping time for you, and they are in no hurry. Imagine you're floating in space again, wrapped in silence. You look around, expecting to see something. Stars, planets, galaxies, and glowing nebulae. But much of what you see isn't really there. At least, not in a way your eyes can detect. Because the truth is this: most of the universe is invisible, not invisible like a shadow in the night, or a faint glimmer far away. No, this is a kind of invisible even our most powerful machines cannot see. It does not glow, it does not reflect, it does not interact with light at all. And yet, it's there. It bends gravity, it shapes galaxies, it holds the universe together. They call it dark matter. Now, don't let the name fool you. It's not dark like soot or shadows. It's dark because it hides from us, because it refuses to reveal itself through the usual cosmic postcards, blinks of starlight, flashes of radiation, gentle ripples of energy. But we know it's there because of what it does. Picture a galaxy, a magnificent swirl of stars turning slowly like a cosmic pinwheel. If only the visible matter existed, stars, dust, gas, the outer stars should fly away with immense speed. And yet they don't. Galaxies spin in perfect balance, like dancers on a vast invisible surface, as if they were cupped gently in an unseen hand. That hand is dark matter. It hugs them, holds them spin. But we still don't know what it is. Scientists have searched for clues. Could it be a new particle that rarely touches anything? Could it be a strange cousin of gravity? Could it even be a shadow of another universe, touching ours so gently we barely know it's real? Or... Because there's something even more elusive, something that doesn't hold things together. It pushes them apart. They call it dark energy. While dark matter acts like a cosmic glue, dark energy behaves like cosmic wind. It's the reason the universe's expansion isn't slowing down. It's speeding up. This puzzled even the greatest minds. Everyone expected gravity would gradually pull things back, slow the cosmic balloon. But the opposite was happening. Galaxies were flying away from each other faster, not slower, as if space itself had a secret, a hidden pressure inside it growing stronger with time. This energy, this force, this unknown, is estimated to make up nearly 68% of the entire universe. Together, dark matter and dark energy account for 95% of everything that exists. Which means everything you've ever seen, stars, planets, oceans, animals, people, clouds, all of that is just 5%. 5% is visible. The rest is in shadow. But perhaps not shadow in a fearful sense. Think of it as mystery, a soft curtain drawn over the vast stage of existence. And through that curtain, we listen. We build telescopes so sensitive they can detect the faintest wobble in a distant star. We measure the way galaxies bend light like glass. We map the echo of the first light after the beginning of time. Faint microwaves whispering across eternity. And still the mystery remains. But mysteries aren't there to frustrate us. Some are there to remind us that the universe is not a textbook, but a poem, a grand, sweeping, elegant riddle. And we tiny beings made of stardust get to be part of its unfolding. So tonight, as you drift, feel this comforting thought. You are surrounded by the unseen. Not only by dark matter and dark energy and fields of physics still unnamed, but by the hopes of scientists who dream beneath the same stars you do. By forces that have always gently held you, long before you knew their names. You may not see them, but they are real. And just like sleep, just like love, just like dreams, sometimes the most powerful things are felt, not seen. Breathe softly now. You are safe in the arms of a universe that is mostly invisible, yet full of wonder. Let go. Even in the dark, you are never alone. You are never alone. Now imagine a place so heavy, so dense, that not even light can escape it. A place where space folds in upon itself, and time slows down to the point of standing still. Sounds strange. It should. It should. Because you're about to meet one of the most mysterious, misunderstood, and oddly elegant objects in the universe. The black hole. When most people hear black hole, they imagine a terrifying monster in space, devouring stars, crushing planets, destroying everything in sight. But that's just a story, a shadow of truth wrapped in fear. In reality, black holes are not monsters. They are more like cosmic gateways, final chapters in the life of great stars, written in gravity and silence. Let's start at the beginning. Every large star lives a life of fire, millions or billions of years fusing elements, burning brighter and hotter than we can imagine. But when that fuel runs out, the balance is broken. Gravity, which has always been pulling inward, finally wins. The star collapses. In a sudden, dramatic moment, the outer layers explode outward in a brilliant supernova, and the core keeps falling inward, crumpling tighter and tighter, until it forms a point, a singularity, so small and dense that the very fabric of space and time folds around it. This is the birth of a black hole. From the outside, you see a boundary known as the event horizon. Cross it, and you can never return. Not because it's a wall, but because the pull of gravity becomes stronger than any possible speed, even the speed of light. Inside, no one knows. Even our best science fades at the edge, and some believe everything falls into the singularity, an infinitely dense point where known physics breaks. Others wonder whether what falls in might come out. On the other side, what if black holes lead somewhere? This is where science tiptoes into poetry. Some theorists imagine black holes connected to white holes, fabulous objects that expel matter instead of swallowing it. If that were true, perhaps black holes are doorways, not endings but bridges. To where? Another part of the universe, another universe entirely, perhaps even another beginning. There's a gentle beauty in not knowing. And despite their reputation, black holes are not cosmic vacuums roaming the galaxy. They don't just suck things in. You could orbit one safely, as long as you kept your distance, the same way Earth orbits the sun. They are quiet, they are still, and they are simple in a profound way. Each black hole is described by just 3 things: mass, spin, and charge. And yet, inside them may lie the answer to time travel, quantum secrets, or even where the lost information of the universe goes. In 2019, humans captured the first real image of a black hole, not of the hole itself. Remember, light cannot escape it, but of the glowing ring of gas and plasma around it. The photograph was circular, shadowed, and slightly blurry, and yet it changed everything. The world looked into the face of the unknowable, and it looked back silent, ancient, and still. If anything, black holes teach us humility. They remind us that not even light can go everywhere, that there are edges to understanding, and that mystery itself is part of existence. Now, as you rest and breathe deeply, imagine drifting safely near the edge of one of these cosmic giants, not close enough to fall, just near enough to watch. The stars behind it appear distorted, like a funhouse mirror of space. Time moves slower here. If you stayed long enough, you might watch the future unfold across the universe, galaxies growing old, new stars born, all while your own time ticks gently forward. But there is no need to go that far. You are already part of this mystery, because within every atom of your body flows the gravity of collapsed stars. And just like black holes, you hold memories of things even you can't see. So close your eyes, let go. There are many mysteries in the universe, but none more beautiful than the silence of something so powerful it doesn't need to shine. It simply is, and perhaps that's enough. There, far beyond the last shining galaxy we can see, beyond the veil of infrared and X-ray, beyond the deepest sky your eyes or even telescopes can reach, there may be someone else looking back. Someone wondering the same thing you're wondering now. Are we alone? Are we alone? It's a question older than civilizations. One whispered under the stars by nomads, sailors, monks, and dreamers. When you look up at the night sky, it's easy to feel small and a little lonely. The miles between stars are immense. The space between galaxies is almost unthinkable. And yet the question remains, with all that space, with all those stars, with the hundreds of billions of planets that might be cradling light and warmth, why is it so quiet? This is the mystery of the great silence. Scientists call it the Fermi paradox, the contradiction between the high probability of alien life and the complete lack of evidence. Let's break it down gently. Our galaxy alone, the Milky Way, is home to over 100 billion stars, most of them with planets. Many in the so-called Goldilocks zone, where it's not too hot or too cold for liquid water, just water. That's all life might need to begin. So, by all logic, the universe should be teeming with life. An intelligent life. Mathematically, even conservatively, there should be thousands, maybe millions of civilizations. And yet, silence. No signals, no grand messages written across the stars, no great spacefaring empires sweeping across the cosmos. Just us, or at least only us that we know of. Why? Maybe intelligent life is rare, a cosmic fluke. Maybe civilizations rise and fall like waves, never overlapping in time. One burns brightly and fades, then another is born millions of years later, too far behind to hear the echoes of the one before. Maybe they're out there, watching quietly, waiting until we're ready, peeking through their own version of a telescope, wondering if we are still just learning to walk. Or maybe they don't use signals like we expect. Maybe they speak in pulses of gravity, in beams of neutrinos, in languages made of light we haven't yet learned to listen for. And then there's one more haunting possibility. Maybe intelligent life tends to self-destruct before it can spread. Technology, war, imbalance, a brief spark and then darkness. But perhaps, just perhaps, we are the lucky ones. Perhaps we are the start of the next great idea. The civilization that doesn't burn out, but grows slowly and kindly, sharing its light instead of consuming it. Maybe that's why we haven't heard from anyone, because we are meant to be the first voice, the very first light shining out at the cosmic ocean. If that's true, it's not a burden, it's an invitation, to grow wisely, to explore gently, to reach out kindly. Because maybe the universe has been waiting for you, for humanity, to grow up beneath the stars and finally answer the call not in words, but in wonder. Somewhere on a far-off world, there may be oceans in colors we've never imagined, skies with 3 suns, trees taller than our mountains, beings with thoughts we would call dreams, and dreams brighter than any thought. But there's no need to rush out and find them, because in many ways, the search for life out there is really a way of looking deeper into ourselves. What would we say if we found company among the stars? What songs would we sing? What stories would we tell? And perhaps more importantly, what kind of world would we want to show them? So sleep now, little ambassador of Earth. The stars may not speak in our language, but they watch just the same. And when we are quiet, we can almost hear them breathing. Not with lungs, but with light, with gravity, with ancient patience. And maybe tonight, in the hush of your dreams, a new voice will rise, not to ask, are we alone, but to say, we are listening now. You floated through stars, danced with galaxies, and listened to the soft question of whether we're alone. But now imagine this. What if the entire universe, everything we've talked about, is just one universe among many, a single drop in a vast infinite ocean of unseen realities. Unseen realities. This is the mystery of the multiverse. It sounds like science fiction. Perhaps even like a dream you'd forget when morning comes. But some of the brightest minds in physics believe it might be true. That our universe, with all its stars, planets, atoms, laws of physics, and familiar moments, is not the only version of reality. Let's slow it down so you can drift into it gently. Our universe had a beginning, the Big Bang. But what caused it? One theory suggests that our universe is like a bubble that formed in a foamy sea of other bubbles, each bubble its own universe, expanding quietly, never touching the others, or maybe occasionally colliding, creating new bursts of space and time. There could be an infinite number of them, universes that are similar to ours, and others so completely different that they would be unrecognizable. Some with no stars, some where gravity is weaker or stronger, some so alien that even dreaming of them shapes your thoughts in unfamiliar ways. And yes, there could even be versions of you in some of them. A strange idea, isn't it? Not just one you, but countless others, spreading across endless parallel realities. One where your life turned left instead of right, where you took that chance, where you spoke those words. Where you never met the people you know now, or met someone else entirely. But here's the beautiful part. In all those other universes, with their different histories and timelines, you are still uniquely you. Your path may change, but the light within you, whatever it is that makes you, you, remains. Still, the multiverse doesn't have to be about alternate versions of ourselves. It's also just another reminder that reality might be far more vast and layered than we can possibly understand. Some theories suggest that the laws of physics, things we assume are fixed and universal, might only apply within our cosmic bubble. In another universe, light could bend backward, time could run in loops. Particles could behave in ways that defy the rules we live by here. Is it possible to reach them? Not yet, maybe never. But some scientists search for faint fingerprints, tiny clues in the cosmic background radiation left over from the birth of our universe. If our bubble ever brushed up against another, it might have left a ripple, a scar in the sky. A whisper of a neighbor we'll never see, but know is out there. And just like that, our idea of everything becomes very small, but not in a way that makes you feel insignificant. No, in a way that comforts. Because even if our universe is one of an infinite sea of universes, you are part of it. Your breath, your thoughts, your dreams, they happen inside a universe so balanced, so fragile, so perfectly tuned that it can hold life. Which means you being here in this moment is either an astonishing coincidence or part of something far deeper. Some call it purpose, some call it chance. Some call it mystery, but whatever it is, it's beautiful. The multiverse may never reveal itself fully. It may forever be a question without an answer. But questions can be sacred too. They don't always need conclusions. Sometimes their value lies in how deeply they make us wonder. How softly they open the door to awe. So tonight, as you slide further into rest, let yourself float gently through this thought that somewhere beyond time and understanding, the universe whispered yes, and that whisper became you, a single consciousness, a quiet moment. Awake in the vast cosmic dream, sleep peacefully, knowing that no matter how many universes might exist, in this one, you are exactly where you belong. And now, after all the drifting through stars and whispers of time, through the silent pull of black holes, and the idea of a multiverse grander than dreams, we arrive where we began, here, with you, eyes closed, breath steady, floating somewhere between thought and sleep. Funny, isn't it? After exploring billions of galaxies and passing through the edge of what we can know, we always circle back to one quiet truth. You are part of all of it. The carbon in your body was formed in stars. The calcium in your bones was forged in ancient supernovae, massive stellar deaths that happened before Earth was even born. The very atoms that make you were once dust, and before that, light. You are not just looking at the universe. You are living proof that it exists, and it works, that it has, in some incomprehensible way, loved itself into life, through stardust, oceans, breath, and now, you. And the most mysterious, relaxing truth of all, it didn't have to happen. The universe didn't need to form stars. Stars didn't need to form planets. Planets didn't need to form life, but they did. And here you are, lying back, wondering about everything at just the right time in cosmic history for stars to be visible, for life to be conscious, for dreams to be possible. If you ever feel small, remember this. The universe is vast, yes, but it is also personal. It speaks not with words, but with beauty, with the gravity that holds your feet to the earth, with a moon that tugs softly on the tides, with the shades of deep space photographs and the hush between meteors streaking night skies. It speaks through silence, through mystery, through music and mathematics and motion, and it speaks through you. Yes, you, every time you wonder. Every time you notice a shadow, a star, a breath of wind. Every time you feel something bigger than yourself, and let it be. Because underneath the questions, why am I here? What does it all mean? There is something quieter, older, deeper. A presence, a peace, a truth that doesn't need to be explained. It just waits patiently to be felt. You are not separate from the stars. You are not watching from outside. You are the universe resting, thinking, being, for a little while, in this form. Simple, quiet breathing. So when you sleep tonight, let that thought keep you company, that in some way the stars are still inside you, that they remember, that they are proud of you, for wandering, for dreaming, for being here. The universe is always speaking to you, not loudly, not with urgency, just gently, a starlight whisper, a breeze in the trees, a heartbeat too quiet to hear, but always there. You don't have to understand it all. You only have to be willing to listen. And now as your eyes grow heavy, remember, you are resting inside a story 13 billion years in the making. And tonight, that story pauses, just for you, with peace, with stillness, with stars spinning softly in the background of your dream. Sleep well, traveler. You're home now.